I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Happy Monday. I hope you are all doing well. Please do smash a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. Listen, you know, I've been at work today. So many messages saying, just because you're at work, Joe, that doesn't mean you're leaving us, does it? Just because you're at work, that doesn't mean we're not going to get daily uploads. No, I am still going to provide you daily updates. No matter what time it is, we still will be getting together live, pre-recorded, whatever it may be. Nothing's going to change. This job's going to fit around this, and that's why I wanted to take it. And this is where we're in. This is where we're at. Andrew says we are all in need of Just Joe therapy. Big up to you, brother. I love that. Will as well. Big up to you. James says, Joe in the house, my guy. I'm feeling positive as well. You know, I didn't even start with the sack of the board today, because it doesn't take a lot for me as a passion merchant, as a passion fan, to start to feel better. And today, whilst working, all the notification came through about afternoon tea time. Leeds United are close to getting a manager. Yeah, Javi Gracia or Rafa Benitez. And that's what I forgot to do. Put the poll on. I want to know from you who you would prefer, and we'll discuss that on the end. Listen, we're going to talk on Javi Gracia a lot today. I've been doing a bit of research, been watching some videos. He even spoke to a Watford fan that I know, big up Charlie, who I've done content with before, and he gave me some insight on him as well. So we're going to have a chat on him and why I think, I'm not saying it's my preferred option, but why I think the club will opt for him over Rafa. We'll have a chat about whether or not we agree that's the right decision or not, but I think they will opt for Javi Gracia over Rafa Benitez. That's my thought process at this moment in time. I wish we could put Bielsa in the poll, Tommy G. I'll put the poll out, vote, yeah, if you want. I know there's a lot in the chat saying Rafa. But after today's video, you might maybe change your opinion, maybe not. I don't know. We'll have a chat about it. I just want to shout out, big up Chris Moyles as well. I was out walking the dog this morning. I got loads of messages to just say that Chris Moyles had shouted me out on Radio X. So from one Leeds fan to another, if you are watching this, because he said I'd convinced him that he wanted Rafa. Like, I convinced him. I was like, yo, that's class. But it's just nice to hear the name. So big up Chris Moyles for giving me a shout out, bro. And big shout out Chris Moyles and Radio X. If you ever want me on, mate, just let me know, yeah? Help a brother out. Just while we're on that as well, Aronson and Rutter have just both come off. Aronson scored in the under-21s game. It's a bit of a... I don't know if it's a glowing endorsement, the fact that they've played. Maybe it's because they haven't had many minutes. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but both your most expensive signings playing for under-23s when you're in a relegation battle is a bit risky. It's a bit risky. So, I don't know. The poll is showing. The poll's definitely there because 73% at this moment in time have voted for Rafa. So, yeah, listen, wicked. If people are blaming certain sections of the fan base, then they're mad. We should all be together. But this is what happens when you lose games. This is what happens when you remove someone like Bielsa from the situation and appoint someone like Marsh, and the football's minging and we're losing. The opinion will change straight away if we win a football game. It's just football, unfortunately. This is what happens. And it's heightened even more because of social media. Back in the day, you might have a few crosswords with your friends in a pub or at the ground. You know, there might be someone with a difference of opinion in you. You know, I've had it many times. Someone said to me when I've been shouting off at Bamford, I remember someone said, fucking shut up. And you're like, oh, you fucking shut up. You know what I mean? You know how it goes. But because of social media, it's just heightened. It's just heightened. So try not to feed into it. It is what it is. This is what happens. And let's be honest, since Victor Orta told us sack of the board, we are the only team in the top 6 divisions, including League One, no, not League One, National Conference League North and South, to not win a game of football. So people aren't going to be happy. And these are the facts. That's why, you know, I see people getting annoyed at me, and I get it. And that's why when I do this, I have to be open to that as well. You know, some people can use content creators as a lightning rod if it's a difference of opinion, right? Say, it's what it is, man. I'm cool with it. I'm cool. The poll's definitely there, people. The poll is definitely there because people are voting on it. So maybe refresh your YouTube. Refresh your YouTube if you haven't seen the poll. But it is there because people are voting. We've had 202 votes on it. Sean Healy with the super chat. Big up to you, my guy. Rafa would murder Orta. Yeah, and that's another reason why maybe Rafa Benitez won't get the job. I think he'll prefer Javi Gracia, just because of the Spanish links and him previously being at Valencia, etc. There's loads of different things going into it. Jamie Dixon makes a good point. He deploys a 4-4-2 as well and 4-2-2 in possession. Just doesn't work with our players to get results. Well, we'll have a chat about that because, like I say, big shout out T4. Big shout out T4, who've done a tactical video on Javi Gracia's Watford side, and I've been watching that and noting a few things down. And yeah, listen, maybe it will work. Maybe it wasn't the tactics. Maybe it was the manager employing the tactics, if you know what I mean. But this is the video that I've been watching over on YouTube on Javi Gracia. If you want to check that out, T4, just put in Watford tactics under Gracia. They'll come up. He does like to play with a 4-2-2. He does not tend to play with the wingers and uses his fullbacks for width. But I think it's a little bit more polished than what we've seen under Jesse Marsh. And I still stand by the point that I've made continuously that Jesse is a car salesman, not a football manager. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion. I don't think he's great at all and can't get across his ideas. It's very much saying the right things, you know, and not actually being any weight to it. Richard Ross says, Joe, both managers are only short term. I disagree. I think the club have backed themselves into a corner where they can't do that. Maybe the only way they can get around it is if they offer them big bonus if they stay up, etc. But listen, if Leeds United stay up with the situation that we're in, I don't think any of us as fans are going, get them out. And I think the club will stick with them as well. And listen, they tried it with Carlos Corberán. They tried this. When he said white smoke, yeah, white smoke will come. The Pope is about to come. He meant for me. You know, Carlos Corberán. And people disagreed with me, but it is. You know, that's what I thought. Carol H says, I'm new to the channel. I like your honesty. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much for your kind words and thanks for subscribing. And if you are new here, then please do subscribe to the channel. Joe, do you think Jesse would be a better number 2? It'd just be better working at LinkedIn or, you know, a call centre. Like Jesse Marsh is a call centre guy. Get him in there. Ramble the troops, give him a 2-week new way of working, NWOW kind of vibe coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do. Like Chris said before on the final word, you know, he would have you coming out of that training room feeling $1 million. But listen, it can only work for a couple of training sessions. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. I'm not too sure. So nah, not a number 1, not a number 2, maybe a car salesman or a trainer. Something along them lines. More, yeah. This is the money. This is on the money. From my main man James, a motivational speaker, perhaps. That's probably best for Jesse if he is watching this. Get into that because football's not for you, brother. Football is not for you. I can feel the USA men's national team accounts burning holes in me right now. You know, is what it is. But let's go back. Like I said, I've been speaking to Watford fans. I've had a look at some videos. I've read some content. Yeah, It's Mint says any manager is better than none. This is where I'm at. This is why I'm excited by Javi Gracia. I'm even, excited by the prospect of Rafa. Rafa's coming out and saying, I want the job. I want the job. He's like, what? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me, bro? No, listen. What I will say, people know this isn't a slant on America, by the way. This notion that Leeds United fans hate the United States of America is mad. If that was true, you wouldn't hear this.
Oh, you told my brethren, I'm liking this American boy, American boy.
You wouldn't hear this.
America, oh yeah, come and feel the system, yeah.
And you certainly wouldn't hear this.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for my life.
Listen, I'm a big man in the States. I love my WWE. This is nothing against America. If you don't know about that, you don't know about that. That there is the Hardy Boys, baby. Yeah, man, it is what it is. So yeah, that is my that is my American day. This is nothing about America. It's just my mic is low tonight. Is it? Let me turn it up. Is that a bit better? Let me turn it up. I apologize. Oh, the mic went off. Right, okay, I'm going to turn it up for you. Sorry, I'm trying to get the right. Let's have a look. Configure. Let me turn this up for you. Is that better? Is that better? I'll try to get it right because before I was shouting. Better, yeah? Yeah. Compared to my music, yeah, I will be when the music's speaking over. So yeah, just back on that. On the USA men's national team account. It's more so them that as soon as Leeds United lose, they come and say, that you hate America and, this is why we hate you and we hope Leeds United go down because you all hate Jesse and you all hate America. So when I say them USA men's national team accounts, I mean them Stan accounts that had... Connor touched on it the other day when he said like they have like Christian Pulisic as their avatar and stuff on social media. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. So as today developed, then let's go back and have a look and see how it broke on the Twitter sphere, on the news. We've even been linked to players today, but I'm not going to touch on that. Yes, man, my guy knows. Alex knows. Tyler Adams is my guy. If you remember, I was the one that was banging that drum way back when people were talking about, I think he's not Somalian. Where's he from? Where's Mo Kamara from? Mali? I'm going to have to check that. I think that's good knowledge if I can remember that. Because do you know what I think? What I will say about being a football fan, flags of the world, like you're amazing at them. I always remember, like from having the sticker books as a kid, like I always knew the flags of the world. I was like, I remember that play. Yeah, Mali. See, Dylan knows, man. I was bang on the money. And yeah, people know that, like when you collect football sticker books, Panini, all that going up, like you knew about flags of the world because of that, right? Sean Healy says, Auto is messing with your mic just like Oscar on. Listen, Oscar looks like he's about to. Oscar looks like he's. I love Oscar. He's my guy. And his knowledge is unrivaled. He's very, very good. But he does look like he's working at Leeds Bradford Airport. He just needs two of them things going like that. We're just welcoming in the flight now for Javi Gracia going like this. Oh, look, they're actually this colour, aren't they? This is my new. Everybody say Justy. Yeah, man, I got loads of new goodies today. Check me out. And get this, right? I know, you know me, I dance around the houses before we get into the content. So, because I work at Just Eat, on your Just Eat account, you get £8.50 put on every day. Every day. So tonight I had a chicken parmo wrap with chips and chili sauce and garlic. So it's highly likely in about a month's time, I might be about 30 clem, and you might have to like winch me out of this chair. Like I might have to come in and be like hoisted down like that now and then, people, as I get like hoisted and winched into my chair. But what a result that is by Just Eat. Big up Just Eat for that, because that's really cool that you do that. £8.50 a day. Do you know what I mean? Especially in a cost of living crisis. Tonight, I didn't have to make tea. Although I went to the shop and there were some chicken that was on a whoopsie. I love my whoopsies. I love my whoopsies. I love deals. You've got to love deals in this cost of living crisis. And I bought some chicken, 4 chicken breasts, and I cooked them for the dogs. But to be fair, it's because you're cheap. But my dogs eat well. They eat better than me. But yeah, I didn't have to do my own food tonight. Big up to Just Eat. I had a chicken parmo wrap with chips and chili sauce and that. So there you go. You'll hear a lot more Just Eat propaganda probably while I'm here. They also sponsor the Champions League, right? They also sponsor quite a few European events. They had tickets to the World Cup final, right? Anyway, so I'm sat there and I'm thinking, if I can get in here, I can somehow get Just Eat to sponsor me to go somewhere, and I'll vlog it. Straight in there thinking about all that sort of stuff. What can I do? What can I do with a drunken sailor? What can I do with a drunken... As you can tell, I'm in a good mood. Why am I in a good mood? Because Leeds United, Victor Orta, Andrea Razzani, and Angus Kinnear, as much as I dislike them right now, they're pulling their finger out of their backside. Yeah? It's working for just... I'm here, baby. I'm here. Everybody say Just Eat. I mean, love it. There you go. Right, so let's go back to how this day unfolded. Ian's a happy clapper. What's he saying? What's Ian saying? For all those that want to sack the board, Ian, give over. Get in the bin, Ian. Get in the bin. That is terrible. I just don't understand it, right? So I'm going to give you an analogy, Ian, right? So I don't know what you do, Ian, but let's say you work in construction and you go to work every day, and you know your boss makes you work overtime without any pay. You work about 9-hour days, yeah, on this building site. He spits in your sarnies that your missus makes for you. You know, he's just horrible. Yeah, he's horrible. Then you get another job, and this one, he's almost as bad. But he don't spit in your sarnies. So he does everything else, but he don't spit in your sarnies, right? He lets you eat your sarnies, but everything else is exactly the same. You go home to your partner, and on an evening, and you're complaining, I got this new job, and you know, it's terrible. My back's killing, all that sort. But he doesn't spit in my sarnies, and your partner goes, "You'll make do, because your previous one used to spit in your sarnies." And you go, "Oh yeah, you're right," because he spat in my sarnies. He's still horrible, but at least he don't spit in my sarnies. So result, do you know what I mean? Just because things were bad before doesn't mean you now have to accept like mediocrity, you know, just because there once upon a time Ian was someone that was worse. Do you know what I mean? Someone that was worse. These many analogies you could use. You know what I mean? Incorrect. So if you're gonna say that, come with the correctness. You know, but listen, Ian, football's about opinions. I don't mind them, but like what I'll say is like, come on, man. you're allowed to criticise without saying, what about Chileno? What about this? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the players have let us down as well. But this is on the board. The reason you don't have a manager at your football club is not on the players. Now, of course, they're culpable because they've been terrible. Jack Harrison putting in his worst performance in a Leeds United shirt. Shocking. Not good enough. But, do you know what I mean? And Paul, I haven't misunderstood his message, have I, bud? Because he's just reconfirmed it there. I'm on the money tonight. Colin Kerwin says, Bacca de Javi, Sacca de Bird. Hopefully manager bounce against Chelsea, then Sacca de Potter. Leeds 4-1 against Southampton. Come on, Leeds. If we have a new manager in the door, I'm happy. I'm happy, and I think we can get a result. I think we can get a result for sure. For sure, for sure. Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm only having a little bit of fun, but come on. Let's not just say, because it was shit before, we can now accept it's less shit. Do you know what I mean? Oh, well, it's less shit, so let's just accept it. That's not how it works, is it? Come on now. Right, okay, so let's dial it right back. I like to go right back, yeah? I like to go right back. And what I do want to say here, Nipper says, that analogy's made me hungry. I don't know how, bro. I don't know how. Am I getting them spit sarnies? No. That shouldn't be making you hungry. Okay, so let's dial it right back. What I do want to say before we go through it all, okay? Yeah, bang on the money to Sherna.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
It is what it is. Big up to my man Gattuso. Look, a lot of the press came out flying, yeah? A lot of the press came out flying. Phil Hay did a piece. A lot of other pieces came out flying at this board. Rightly so. I like to see it. I love to see it. Yeah, I did. Right, okay. So Javi Gracia then. Okay, this was about 6 hours ago when the tweet starts coming through. Big up to my guy. Love you. When the tweet started coming through, Javi Gracia all of a sudden hit favourite. He hit top spot. Okay, so this was 6 hours ago. You know, I like to share my screen, so I'm going to do that for you now. So this was 6 hours ago, the state of play. Okay, we had Nuno on there, Steve Gerrard, Rafa Benitez, Javi Gracia being favourite. Came out of nowhere, right? Totally came out of nowhere. So that was the state of play 6 hours ago. And we're all like, okay. Listen, on Javi Gracia, he guided Watford to an FA Cup final. That's good. That's really good. They finished 11th in 2018-19. Yeah. Does Joe have his mods on block? No. Why are you on block? You're not on block. Chill out, Quins, dude. So, yeah, listen. He's been in an FA Cup final with Watford and finished 11th in the Premier League with Watford. He's currently out of work. It makes a deal easy to be done. His last club was Al Sadd in Qatar, where they finished first in 21-22. That's not a huge achievement, but he still won the league, right? He still won the league. It is what it is. But then again, I can't really say that because Jesse won it in the Farmers League. So let's just not worry about the Al Sadd stuff, but focus on the fact that he took Watford to 11th in the Premier League in 18-19. And also guided Watford to an FA Cup final. That's success for Watford. Yeah. Big shout out to my main man Oscar Marriott, who's been doing a lot of work as well. I follow Oscar. I love his footballing knowledge. He said, look, he did a really solid job at Watford. And even better Xavi's results at Al Sadd. Obviously, Javi now manager at Barcelona. Valencia didn't go well, but as we know, Valencia shit show. And there's a lovely little thread being put through just on how bad things were at Valencia when he was there. Okay. When Javi Gracia was there. And I'm going to pull that up as well, because there's reasons as to why it went so poorly for him. Okay. Watford fans have also been wading in on it. And we'll have a look at what Watford have had to say about the situations as well. But there is a great thread being put together by AII Leeds, aren't we? A lot of Just Joe family tagged me in this thread as well. So big up to them. And I want to give credit to AII Leeds, aren't we? And I'll share my screen here so you can see it in all its glory. And I think it's pretty decent because a lot has been made. A lot has been made about Javi Gracia's Wikipedia page, right? About how long he spent at clubs. A lot's been made about that. Because he hasn't spent an awful amount of time at a lot of clubs and his win percentage hasn't been great, etc. So naturally, like we did with Alfred Schroeder, we all went, oh my God. But there's you've got to put context on it. You've got to put context on it. And there is reasons as to why maybe it didn't go as well for him. Now, what I'll do is I'll share with you, first of all, obviously, that managerial record and how many clubs he's been at. Obviously, if we remember when we were looking at Slot was 50% win rate, 60% win rates, and we're all licking our lips going, wow. This, not so great, 33% here and there. Watford, 37.9%, etc. Valencia, 28.9%. Look how many clubs he's had. So naturally Leeds fans are like, no, this is not the guy. But you have to put context on this. And again, I'll come back to the thread that was put together by AII Leeds, aren't we? Big up to him. Great thread. I'm going to share this with you now. Okay. So he said, I've seen a lot of Leeds fans' instant dismissal of Javi Gracia's wiki page where it shows his win percentages over his career. So here's a little bit of context and further insight. So big up to him for putting this together for us. He says, at Malaga, he had a 33.3% win rate, which given their budget in the top flight, isn't that bad. That got them consecutive top half finishes, what we would give for a top half finish right now, right? 8th and 9th they finished, taking points off Barca, Real Madrid, Atletico over both them years. So getting points against the big boys in both seasons that he was at Malaga. Now, look at our fixtures. There's some tough games in there. There is some very tough games in there. So we need to be able... Do you remember Alexi Lalas and Rad's liking his tweet? These aren't when you'll stay up. You've got to beat the teams. All that sort of stuff. Well, Leeds United, unfortunately, aren't in that position anymore. Because that run that we had... Do you remember that run that we had with all them lower-end teams that people were saying we were going to get 9, 12 points from? We ended up with about 3. 2 even. Do you know what I mean? So, we're going to need to get points off some of the big boys. I don't know if you could count Chelsea as big boys anymore, but we've got to play Liverpool, we've got to play Spurs, we've got to play City, we've got to play Newcastle. We're going to have to try get wins. You're going to have to try get wins. So let's go back to Zifred. Okay, he goes on to say, then at Watford, he had a 37.9% win percentage in the Prem. This is the real kicker. This is the good stuff. He took over mid-season from Marco Silva, who, by the way, is nearly at top 6 now with Fulham. That again shows how bad it is at Watford. You know what I mean? They've had a lot of successful managers come through the football club and they just bin them off. Look at Marco Silva now. Maybe if they'd have stuck with him, look at Fulham. They're nearly in the top 6. Do you know what I mean? They're not that far off the top 4, I don't think. So it just shows they're a bit basket case. I've sort of come to the realization that a lot of Italian sort of chairmans are. Do you know what I mean? Is it the Pozzos, I think? We know what Massimo Cellino's about. I seen a tweet put out earlier on by the Square Ball or retweet where he'd sacked Pep Clotet, got another manager in, sacked him, brought Pep Clotet back, got another manager in, sacked him. What's going on here with Massimo Cellino? What's Pep Clotet doing as well? Like, to get treated like that time after time, I just say, mate, I don't want the job again. It's mad that he's allowing himself to be done that. You know what I mean? He's never going to get anywhere, is he? But anyway, back to this. So, Silva had 1 win in 11 games. All right, okay, you can understand why they sacked him at that point. Go back. No? Is the thread still there? Yeah. Okay. So, Silva had 1 win in 11 games and guided them to safety. So, they had 1 win in 11 games. He came in mid-season and guided them to safety. Not only safety, got them 14th. Yeah. The next season, they finished 11th and reached the FA Cup final. So all this short-termism, if he keeps us up by a miracle, then I'm okay with I'm okay with Rafa staying. I'm okay with Nuno staying. I'm okay with Gracia staying. It's not. We can't be selective now. We cannot be selective. That's the dog, not my ass. So they reached the FA Cup final. He was sacked the following season after only 4 games. Imagine that. Only 4 games after he got you to an FA Cup final and a 14th place finish. It's madness, madness. And then this is the real one that everyone's talking about, is his time at Valencia. Okay, now he finished at Valencia after 1 season with only a 28.9% win ratio, which isn't great. From the outside, it looks concerning, but when you dig deeper, is it a little surprise? The club was in turmoil with some massive financial problems. The summer he joined them, they sold their best players in Rodrigo. Of course, we managed to get him on the cheap. I don't know, maybe not 30 million. But he wouldn't have come had Valencia still been in their money. Remember, Rodrigo actually was in Spain's international squad. At that point, for sure. Definitely was, for sure. What we're saying? Who's making comments? What's going on? Why he's arguing in the chat? Be nice to one another, yeah? Be nice to one another. So not only did they lose Rodrigo, they lost Parejo, Kondogbia, Coquelin, and Ferran Torres, and replaced none of them. Okay? They were the only La Liga side to make 0 signings that summer. And the media described the job he had as thankless and unenviable. Yeah, I got that right. Unenviable. Yeah. 0 signings. And there's even more to add to this as well. So, because remember, Leeds United can't give him any players. Leeds United have a squad. Valencia, okay, didn't do well there. But there's a lot of context and reasons as to why. Now, when you also go on a thread that Watford fans have tonight put out, right? I'm gonna show you this as well, and again, remember, like, this is why I like Rafa, right? Because Newcastle fans adore him, Liverpool fans adore him, of course Everton hate him, but you know what I mean. Everton fans are gonna hate him because he's a legend at Liverpool, right? He's a legend at Liverpool. What's going on here? Like, what we arguing? I'm just looking at the chat. It's popping off. It's because we're not winning games. This is what happened, folks. Can you think of 2 managers more different than Benitez and Marsh? Yeah, but bro, what, in a good way, bad way? I don't know what you're saying, because I couldn't listen. We were told Marsh, from Bielsa to Marsh would be a seamless transition. So we don't even need to worry about that. We don't even need to worry about that. Do we? So, do you know what I mean? Right, okay. So, back to that point of Javi Gracia and his times at clubs that, when put context on, actually he's not done too bad. Other situations, it's been an absolute shit show. So, how can you expect him to do well, etc., etc.? Yeah. So, Watford fans actually put together this, and this has had over 2,000 votes, by the way, which is quite a large amount, right? And it's from a Watford fan who says, Javi Gracia potentially to Leeds has got me thinking. Hindsight and all that, and knowing what we know now, but was sacking him the right decision? Okay. 77.8% of Watford fans have said no. Okay. They've said no. Yeah. Now, not only that, look at what they backed him with in that summer. Okay. So he got to a cup final and 11th in the Premier League, and that's what they gave him. Ismail Assar, Craig Dawson, and Danny Welbeck. Okay. Terence Super Chat says Leeds Radar saying that Gracia has just signed. We shall see. And big up there to Steve, who's just clarifying his point, saying, I meant in a good way, more personality-wise. Yeah, exactly. And Javi Gracia is going to come in and carry some gravitas as well. Do you know what I mean? Not going to suffer, idiotas, if you like. Yeah, and he goes on to say, Luke, big up to Luke as well. He says, think the entire club felt fed up. Javi did an unreal job, and the summer he was back with Sarr when he doesn't use wingers. And we're going to chat about that, about our players, and we have wingers, and how he likes to play with a 4-2-2. Very narrow at times, although he does like to have more width with his fullback, and we'll talk about that. Craig Dawson and Welbeck, who was always injured, so bad looking back, yeah. Apparently, there was issues with bonuses as well. I don't know what that equates to, but it looks like it was an absolute shit show. Yeah, so things didn't go well. Like behind the scenes, there needs to be context put on his time there. But Watford fans have nothing but good things to say about Javi Gracia. As I said to you, I spoke to a good friend of mine, Charlie, who's a Watford fan, who I've done, content with in the past. And this is what he had to say. This is in a DM. He said, look, he's one of our better managers. He plays 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2, solid, and lets the players and lets the better players express themselves. They had the likes of Pereira when he was there, the Argentinian. He was sick on FIFA, by the way. I remember having him, pretty cheap option. But he was scoring goals for fun at Watford. He says, I'm not sure how he will fit into your high-intensity identity. But let's be honest, yeah, this high-intensity under Jesse was just fucking running around like bees, man. It's like they were in a honeycomb pot or something, man. There was no sort of plan with it. We were just running around like headless chickens, basically. But he said he's also a lovely bloke and has great emotional intelligence. Yeah, he has great emotional intelligence. They might need that, they might need that when he comes in. We might just need that. Now, we are going to talk about Rafa Benitez as well, right? Okay. One thing I want to touch on as well, and this is big shout out to John McKenzie, formerly, I think he's still involved with All Stats, aren't we? But he works on T4. Yeah, great guy, and they're talking about possession, right? So they were talking about possession. That there is still issues with Leeds United in possession in the build-up phase, trying to create chances. Okay, and that's even still here post-March. So we've still struggled to create chances. We've seen that against Everton. We didn't even have a shot on target. Yeah. So when the person that made the point, Jamie Kemp, was saying, so most fans recoil at the idea of Leeds United bringing in a firefighter manager. I seen it when I came in here, where people putting sick faces talking about Rafa, or why would we want Rafa, etc. But he did go on to say the simplified use of the ball that's attached to those types really isn't much worse than what's already here. You know what I mean? It's not actually going to be that different in terms of the build-up phase, because it's non-existent. It's non-existent now, right? And John McKenzie just said, the moral of the story from Leeds United this season is that you cannot survive convincingly in the Premier League with no real in-possession ideas about how to control games, right? So when you have the ball, and the onus is on you, like what you're gonna do. And we know under Jesse, we had no plan. There was no plan. And this is where I think Javi Gracia and Jesse are not the same. Because for me, having watched certain videos, there seems to be a lot more tactical nous, and also has an idea on how to set his team up when coming up against better opposition as well. So I just wanted to put that in, because we're all aware that Jesse did well against teams where the onus wasn't on us to have the ball. It was about us nicking it. And let's just see. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. That's a player. Ignore me. That's a player. Just from my man Moore about Ilias Akhmoch. I don't know why Leeds United are still going out trying to do this sort of stuff, trying to get players from Barca and all this sort of stuff, and looking at Dembele from Leon. Just get a manager first, right? I know breaking. Rafa Benitez has contacted Leeds over the manager's job. And we're going to chat about that because I was chatting, right? So, I'm not saying I'm ITK or anything like this, but this person told me about the Cobra and stuff, and I think they were bob on. They also told me that Skubala was getting it basically, the next couple of games, and then I shared that with a few people, and then within the hour it was done. And this person said that nothing's happening tonight, if that makes sense. Nothing's happening tonight. No one's been told to go tonight and be ready for any sort of breaking news. But I imagine we might hear something tomorrow, personally. And for me, yeah, I think as well, Philip, that Rafa's sort of the second choice. I think what's happened is Rafa's been twerking on Sky. Leeds are close to bringing Javi Gracia, and then Rafa's like, "Yo, there's a job there. Like, get my name out there, agent." I don't know. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Just back to Javi Gracia. I do just want to look at his, I guess, the 4-2-2 and the ideas. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano broke the news just 5 hours ago to say that Leeds were in talks. This was after we'd seen him go to basically favourite in the betting. He's probably then maybe had that information fed to him from Rads to say, yeah, this is something they're out there. The one thing they did add in there, and this may be why the Rafa news all of a sudden started to hit. There might be no truth to the Rafa stuff. But the thing with Fabrizio Romano at the end of his tweet, and I'll put this out there, and I'm going to put this out there. So basically, Fabrizio Romano said Leeds are in talks now with Javi Gracia as a potential new manager. He's a serious contender for the job to replace Marsh. Club will make internal decisions soon on the manager situation. There are 2 names in the shortlist. Now, I'd already spoken to someone who said that basically if it was going to be Rafa, we'd have heard by now. Right? If it was going to be Rafa, we'd have heard by now, and there was no reason to be at Ellen Road, right? There was no reason to be at Ellen Road. You don't need to be there tonight. Nothing's happening. So I think, like my head, again, this is like tinfoil hat stuff. I'm like, yo, put that name out there, but also say there's another one added to the shortlist and see what the fan reaction looks like. I think Javi Gracia is their number 1. Then we see after this, because there's another name in the shortlist. No one knows who it is, but believe me, if it was Rafa, then surely they would know. Surely they would feed that. And then all of a sudden we see Rafa. Is there another name? Are Leeds being coy? Are they just putting it out there? I'm not too sure. I think Javi Gracia is their number 1, and I think they will opt for him just due to that Spanish connection. You could argue the players are more suited to play under Javi Gracia than they are Rafa's style, just because they've been used to this narrow system that Javi Gracia is probably going to adopt. But for me, with a little bit more, know-how, different ways in which to play against different opposition. And I dare say, if things aren't working in-game, then he will change it. Definitely. We've spoken for ages now. We've still got loads to go through. I won't share, like, the Athletic article. Phil did his piece on it. The YEP have done their piece on it. Of course, they have. Betting, he's the favourite. We've done all that. We don't need to go over that. I'm just going through my little bookmark tweets so I know where I'm going to next. Big shout out to Ethan Online as well. Ethan Online is knows ball. And he also said, because he was referencing the wiki stuff and how everyone was making an educated opinion on the wiki stuff, like we did with Alfred Schroeder. But he said, look, I don't care about that wiki stuff. Javi Gracia is a good coach, and he's shown it multiple clubs at multiple leagues. He's good enough for Leeds United. And I think we only have to look at his tenure at Watford, right? To know that he's got what it takes to keep Leeds in the Premier League. They'd won 1 game in 11. Now, we've played... How many games have Leeds United played? 20? 21, is it? 2021. How many games is it? Is it 20? Is it 21? Let's have a look. So admittedly, he's got less time. Yeah, it's 23. Oh God, 15 left. Okay. I was trying to find another positive. Yeah. Jamie says, according to a report I read, Gracia is stubborn and won't change his style of play. Troy Deeney said they ignored his instructions to beat Southampton. I've heard good stuff from Deeney, though, as well. I did not know that, bro. I did not know that. There's Moussa Dembele. Leeds looking to sign him. Why are we even talking about that when we might not even be a Premier League club? Obviously, the tactic video. TalkSport came out. It did say that Rafa Benitez has expressed an interest in the Leeds United job. I think this is a lot due to the fact that Leeds are maybe close to Javi Gracia. Maybe, someone mentioned, I think it was my man Dylan said about how, maybe he was looking at that West Ham job. That could have been another reason. Obviously, things aren't going well for David Moyes, etc. He could just be flirting, and then he's seen, oh, well, look, they're going to keep faith with Moyes. Leeds United need a manager. They're close to appointing someone. Let me get my name in the hat. Put it out there. Put the feelers out there. I'm not too sure. Would I prefer Rafa out of the two? Probably. Do I think he's going to get the job? No. I think Javi Gracia, for me, will probably get the job. Let's have a look at this as well, put together by LUFC Data. Chris never misses at LUFC Data. This is Premier League record, obviously, whilst at Watford. 56 games played, won 18, drawn 12, lost 26. Scored 65, conceded 87, had 11 clean sheets, won 66 points with a 1.18 game per average. I don't know, can someone tell me, because maths ain't my strong point. They're not my strong point, but can someone tell me what that would equate to between now and the end of the season if that was to continue? 1.18. There'll be some mathematicians in the chat. So please let me know. Goals per game is 1.2. Oh, God. There we go. Let me move back down. There we go. Goals per game, 1.2. Goals conceded per game, 1.6. And had 3 seasons with Watford. That is Javier Gracia's Premier League record, if you like. Someone's 1 point doesn't keep it, equates to about 16 points. Okay, so about 16 points. What are we on at the minute? 19. So 16 and 19 is 35. 35, is that right? 16 and 19 is 35. Let me just check 35-8. What they've got is that. Is that right? 35, yeah. You know me, I'm not great with maths. Because if you remember, we had a look at 538 and they've still got Leeds United staying up, by the way. Okay, so it's not too far off what they think we'll get. I'll show that just for anyone that missed this the other day as well. 538 have got Leeds United staying up on 37 points and Everton on 36, just based on. Let me just remove Chris's comment and then you'll see it a little bit clearer. You can see there they've got Leeds United staying out of it on 37. It's going to be tight. We know that. Whoever's in charge, it's going to be tight. But yeah, 35 maybe doesn't keep us up just based on the 538 projections anyway. And also you got to factor in the teams we've got to play. We've got to win some football matches. So he's got to hit the ground running. Listen, there's 900 people watching already. That's amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What I will say, we've only got 308 likes. 308. So if you could smash a like on the video for all the hard work that gets put in, because it does take a bit of graft. It's not as easy as just turning your camera on. There's a lot of blood, sweat and tears goes into it. So please do help me and smash a like on the video. It's free for you to do it as well. It's just down there, like probably there, just below this mic, and just go boof. James says, I effing want Rafa. I understand it, bro. I hear it. I don't think the club will go there. I think a lot of us have said it. I think as well, this is something to note actually, and this is for me a pro that goes in the Rafa, that goes in the Rafa. You know, if we're going to weigh them up, I think this is one for me that goes in the Rafa pot. Is Rafa's going to come with his team, his staff. He's going to come in there and he's going to fuck shit up, basically. Right? Javi Gracia will probably work with what he's got. Why don't Javi Gracia will probably work with what he's got? Now, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, do you? But the club will see it as a good thing. The club will see it as a good thing. Big up to my man Matt as well, Matt Hayes. I love Matt. The club will surely see it as a good thing that he'll probably come in and just say, yeah, I'll work with what I've got till end of the season. Do you know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see. That's not a good thing, though. Do you know what I mean? That isn't a good thing. Leeds United apparently linked as well in Barcelona youngster Ilias Akhmohach. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Does anyone want to help? Ilias Akhomach. Apparently, Victor Orta has met the players' representatives on multiple occasions. However, the deal is looking good, but not 100% complete yet. Listen, Tim Sherwood saying he wants the job. Paul Merson's offering Tim Sherwood the job. It's madness, isn't it? Get in the bin, a lot of yous. All this talk like Harry Redknapp going, yeah, terrific. How come I be trying me? Terrific. You know what I mean? No, thank you, dinos. Okay, so that's what we were. I mean, that's not that bad of a team, if I'm being totally honest. Okay, let's just we're working through it before I actually have a look at the thing. Yeah, we're sort of up to date, right? So let's have a look now then at what's this? Oh, I love that. Sign buffs. At sign buff, it's not termate. It's not termate. I think he'll know what I'm saying. He's just tweeted to say that's the dog, not my ass. Joe Wayman spat out my coffee. Tracy says if we want Rafa, you should get your fan base to tweet Rads. We know he reads them. Here's another. Let's have a look about Rafa Benitez saying he wants the job. This is about the Daily Express. We've got some tweets coming in from Adam Pope and Graham Smith. No, nothing. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, Radrazani. Sorry, this doesn't make for great TV. I'm just making sure we're all covered. Right, listen, smash a like on the video. So what we're going to do now is have a look at how Javi Gracia plays and whether or not maybe based on the players that we have, he sort of is the right man to take over. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Darren Farley's amazing, isn't he? So obviously I checked this video out by T4 podcast on Javi Gracia's tactics and the narrow formation that he likes to play in. They had some decent players in that side as well. Obviously, the two up top, because I'm thinking in my head, I was like, oh, Rutter and Bamford, Rodrigo and Bamford. But I do like Gray and Deeney as a pair, to be honest, because I've always rated Troy Deeney. He always scored against Leeds, but obviously Gray as well, who was at Brentford for a period of time, Burnley, and obviously at Watford, decent in behind, very good striker, hot on the heels. You know, they had Capuid, Decore, Will Hughes. I think his name was Ricardo Pereira. It wasn't Pereira. That was it. Argentinian. And who was it? Holibas and Janmat. Did he play at Newcastle for a bit as well? Maybe. I'm not too sure. So I don't know how their squad, like, I don't know what you thinks. Yeah, this is the guy. You know what I mean, Vic. You know what I mean. Yeah. So predominantly them two wide players, if you like, are more midfielders. Do you know what I mean? Will Hughes and Pereira, with obviously Capuy and Decore sitting. And I was just thinking about how Leeds United would fit into that. You know what I mean? I took some like key bits from what was said, you know, on that, and I'll have a look at how maybe Leeds United could line up with the players that Javi Gracia would have at his disposal. Do you know what I mean? Because I think, for me, at the minute, I think he'll probably get the job. That's my thought process. I think he will get the job. So basically, in defensive phases, solid and organised. 2 banks of 4 off the ball. Creative players have the freedom to express themselves. And also, you know, we tend to have long balls as well. There are some directness to his play as well. You know, hitting, say, Troy Deeney, looking to get Gray off him. Whether or not Leeds United can do that, I'm not. The thing is, for me, like, Bamford's great at bringing it down and very technical in that respect, but he's not really a flick-on merchant. Does that make sense? That you might see with the Burnley, for example. The active impressing as well. However, only when certain triggers allow it. So it's not gun-ho all the time, 100 mile an hour, like we've seen under Jesse. And sometimes we'll try funnel the opposition into certain areas, forcing them to go long. I can't remember the centre-backs they had at Watford. Obviously, they had Dawson for a period of time. Who else would have been there? Is it Cabaselli? No. Maybe I've got that wrong. I can't remember. But a lot of onus was put on them dealing with balls in the air. Do we believe Koch and Vorba? Vorba, yes, but I'm not sure the rest of the centre-backs are that good in the air, personally. Could Bamford and Rutter work? Vic Vinegar's just put a comment up there. I like it, Vic. That's what, when I looked at this, and I was thinking, right, okay, so Bamford maybe dropping a little bit deeper and Rutter trying to get him behind. Maybe it could work. The wide midfielders in the formation as well sort of have loose roles. They're not really wingers. They don't really have set positions. We can be very fluid in offensive phases, and the majority of the width comes from the fullbacks. We've seen under Jesse, it seemed that we only went up one side of the pitch as opposed to both. We seem to just funnel it, you know, to Willie Nonto and then leave loads of space at the other side. Now, again, there are a lot more people that know a lot more about ball than me, but I'm just looking at Javi Gracia and this narrow formation that we'll probably adopt under him. And I just wanted to give you my opinion on what that could look like with the players that we have at our disposal, really, and tell me what you think. Obviously, let me just see if I can move that across somehow. That's better there, isn't it? It's a bit too there. Is that all right? Probably need a better tool to use. But yeah, the majority of the width will come from the fullbacks. So you would imagine it would be Firpo and Ayling that would take up them roles. Let's be honest, Rasmus Christensen, what a shocking buy he was. You know, people are talking about writing off Rutter, writing off Aronson. Right, yeah, I hear that, right? I hear that. But I am writing off Christensen as a bad job. And Fred, not necessarily, as we've already touched on, Javi Gracia took this Watford team to 11th and also got them to an FA Cup final, playing in this way. Yeah. Again, Willie, is he your best player? Is he? He had some very good games. He's a marked man at the minute. He's only 19. We have to give him time. You have to give him time. I'm just putting out, because obviously the way I looked at it, obviously, again, this is just my opinion. This might be, you know, totally wrong. But yo, Ian, why are you still just one sec, Ian? Why are you still talking about the board? That was genuinely about 55 minutes ago. Why are you talking about the board? It's mad. The board's shit. Just take it. The board is shit. So they're not really wide players. They're more so midfielders because under Gracia, it was Will Hughes and Pereira, and then Decore, and I forget the other sitting midfielder at the time now. So I was looking at it. Obviously, what we've noticed in the last games is that McKennie and Adams, McKennie can get up and down and obviously join the attack. So a lot of the time, you might see, him coming in here, joining the attacks with the fullbacks up here, creating options for Leeds. But Adams for me would always be here. Never really, negate that position. But we know that McKennie can do that. One thing's for sure, though, like Etienne Kapui, that was it. I don't know any other. What board do I want? I don't know. What's a good board? I mean, there aren't any really, are there? Who's a good board? I tell you what, Brighton's board. Whoever's on the Brighton board of directors, give me them. Whoever's on Brentford's board of directors, give me them. I don't know the names, but I'll take them, okay? There you go, pal. Alex says, why hasn't anyone reported that Aronson just had an emergency appendectomy? Not to excuse his play, but I'm sure his dip in form had something to do with it. Was reported by top journalist Tom Bogart. I don't know. I think it's clutching. If it were that bad, he wouldn't be playing. He played tonight and he scored. You know what I mean? He played 45 minutes and scored. You know what I mean? So the reason for me we need Rocker in there now, because under Javi Gracia, he's played Pereira, he's played Will Hughes, who were basically midfielders. Will Hughes is at Crystal Palace now. He's playing in centre midfield when he does get games. That's why I'd say we would have Rocker and Aronson here. Obviously, you could have Rocker and Aronson. You might have Jack Harrison, but I think he'll be dropped out of the side for a little bit and he needs it. I don't know what that means for Anonto and Somerville. Can they play them roles? I'm not too sure. I don't know. But like you say, our best players are wingers. Of course, we have we've got Sinisterra who's injured as well. Again, that's another great shout as well. Delafeu had his best time under that. I know that, bro. But coming on, Ian, and speaking about backing this board is mental, bro. It's mental. But it is what it is. Non-Toad Can says, Milkman, there you go. And then obviously you could see Rutter and Bamford play up top. You could see, Bamford and Nonto potentially play through the middle as well. But I think the players that we have are probably more suited to Javi Gracia than they are maybe to Rafa. And that's just my thoughts on Javi Gracia. And the reason I've gone so big during this video on him is because that's who I think Leeds United will look to appoint. I think we will see movement in the next 24 to 48 hours. As good as Rafa, and I was banging that drum and I was banging Nuno's drum and that, the club don't look like they're going to go that way. And to be honest, I just want a manager. Do you know what I mean? And Matthew, agree with that as well. I was thinking about that as well, but I just thought McKennie could still bomb forward and get involved. And I'd rather see Rocker up further upfield, maybe trying to get the balls into a Rutter or Bamford. But the people watching this will know a lot more about the game than me that go, Joe, you're way wide of the mark. But listen, it is what it is. I'm pretty self-deprecating. I don't know a lot. I try, to broaden my horizons, extend my palette. I try to. Hopefully it comes across. I just do what I can. I think the club will go for Javi Gracia. I do think they will do that. I think it's more in tune with what the club are trying to do, as opposed to a firefighter that maybe Rafa is considered now and maybe Nuno is considered now. What I will say, Javi Gracia has to hit the ground running. Apparently, Rafa has said he wants the job. That's not come from his mouth. We're hearing it from TalkSport, etc. But We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. But I expect there might be tomorrow evening. We might see some movement. I think just on the grapevine, little bits and bats. Like I say, not, but bits that I hear that maybe it's yeah. I think it'll be Javi Gracia. If I was a betting man. And I don't know what his odds are now, to be fair. Can anyone tell me what his odds are? He's probably odds on at this point. But if you want to win some money, I think Javi Gracia gets your job. I haven't got time, Milkman. No, I haven't got time for that, brother. I do apologise. Just looking at this, we've had 852 votes, by the way, on the poll that we did. And 73% have gone for Rafa. Bad boy G671 said, "You're deluded, mate." What am I deluded about? Tell me what I'm deluded about. I'm feeling good tonight, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you've got. Tell me why I'm deluded. What am I deluded about? White smoke all along was Javi Gracia. Yeah, just 9 days. 9 days short or whatever. Yeah, Reggie said I'd take someone dressed in a bin bag at this point. Definitely. Halloween 90s vibe in that bin bag with a bit of red blood. That's all I got for my Halloween. I don't know what you got, but when I was younger, I used to get maybe a mask, a little cheap mask. If it wasn't a mask, it was I'm deluded on Jack Harrison. What do you mean? Maybe I got a mask and some red blood that I like put on my face, and I put a bin bag on. That was it. So why am I deluded on Jack Harrison? What am I deluded about? Joe, sorry, that's an awful sorry, Joe, that's an awful formation. That's what he plays with, though. We have Nonto, Somerville, and Sinister, and we'll play Rocker and Aronson as narrow midfielders. Maybe, but could he also? I mean, listen, we've seen it under Jesse that he did play the wingers in them roles as well, and maybe they'll work because, like I say, Jared Delafeu. I tell you what we'll do. Give us a sec. Because again, I'm learning on the job like you. Let me just put something in here. How am I spelling Delafeu? Is it D-E-U? Yeah. Right, okay. I've got Delafeu up here. Just bear with us one sec. Because I want to have a look at his heat map in the Premier League for Watford. Let me have a look now. Which seasons did he play under? I'm on it. I'm working it out here, bro. Because we can have a look at Ismail Assar and we can have a look at Jared Delafeu and their average positions picked up when playing under Javi Gracia, right? So let me just work out when Gracia was there, and we can do a bit of digging here. Because, like I say, I'm just going on that tactical video that I've watched on T4 and looking at him playing Pereira and Will Hughes, who predominantly more midfielders as opposed to wingers, but also Delafeu spent some time. So 18-19, Watford, 18-19 season. Now, Jared Delafeu, 18-19 season would have been... Let's have a look. He played 30 matches. We know that 11 of them would have been under Marco Silva. So this is his average positions. Just bear with us one sec. There you go. So that was his average positions. That was in the 18-19 season under Javi Gracia. So you can see he's picking up positions all over that forward line, really. Do you know what I mean? All over that forward line, playing in central spaces, but also quite a lot down that right-hand side as well. So you're basically playing all over. You know what I mean? Let's just take a look at Sarr as well and just see. Thank you, Reggie, man. Love that. Let me just have a look at Sarr at his time as well. Because this obviously, because when you look at the games, or when he was playing with Pereira, who, by the way, that season was scoring goals for fun. Yeah, we were scoring goals for fun. Right, let me just have a look at Sarr. Would have been Premier League 18, 19, 20. I see he was sacked though then, wasn't he? Nah, can't look at Sarr because he only played 4. Did he? How many games? We can't look at Sarr actually. Javi Gracia, because he only got 4 games, didn't he? He was sacked on 7th of September after a poor start to the season. Saw them bottom with just 1 point. So I don't in Sarr's season he didn't actually play that much. But this gives you an opinion. So I guess this is a decent way to sort of see the difference, right? You all just remember there we've just seen Deulofeu's average, touch map for someone that's playing sort of in a wider area. If you then compare it with Sarr that season, now, of course, remember that Gracia was sacked and the manager that came in, obviously, that's proper wide. That's proper wide. Whereas when we looked at Deulofeu under Gracia, now, let me just caveat, this isn't under Gracia. I think he only managed like 4 games that season. He only managed like 4 games, but you can see that's a proper wide man, yeah? But when we compare it with Deulofeu under Gracia, which if you just bear with us 1 sec, I'm going to go to the Premier League. We won 18-19. You can see he's all over, right? He's all over. So there you go. There you go. Let's just, I'll tell you what we'll do as well. While we're on, we might as well have a bit of fun with this. Where is he? P-E-Y, no, is it P-E-Y-E-R? I think, no. Pereira, P-R-E-Y. No, I can't spell his name, man. Who else was it? Will Hughes. And I can't even spell Hughes. This is embarrassing now. There we go, Will Hughes. That's this season. If we look at him in 18-19, yeah, see, you can see that, and that's Will Hughes playing in I guess the. If we go back to, I've got rid of that lineup, but that's where I had, Brendan Aronson, and you can see there that playing a little bit more deeper as well, picking it up a lot at the time on halfway, close to the touch line, and then, trying to, sometimes it said like he would join in and say the 10 in behind the 2 strikers of Gray and Troy Deeney, etc. So do you think, Nonto, for example, or someone can do a similar sort of role? Maybe. I don't know. Listen. That's just, I'm trying to, what's Pereira? How do you spell Pereira now? That's going to do my head in. I need to know how to spell that guy's name. Just bear with us 1 sec, and I'm going to try and find that guy. Just 1 sec. Like, I'll be flabbergasted if Rafa gets this job. I think I will. Right, let me just find Pereira's name. Someone tell me right, there we go. My man's put it in the chat. Right, there we go. Thank you for that. Let's just find him on here because I'm interested to see, because I sort of played Mark Rocker in that role, didn't I? Pereira. My man, isn't it? There we go. I was calling him Ricardo. It's Roberto. Right, let's have a look. My chest's been sat in a position. Yeah, see, sort of similar to Will Hughes. And they're sort of like, they're midfielders though, right? They're midfielders as well. That's worth, thinking about. So you could argue he spent a lot more time hanging out on the left than what Will Hughes is on the right, but they're very much coming in quite a lot as well and spending time in them central spaces as well. I don't know. Would you who do you think? Would you go Mark Rocker? Would you go Aronson? Or would you be looking at, someone like a non-tone Somerville? Yeah, this is the thing in it, Jack. Jack says, just joined. I don't think he's the right manager, but he's better than Skubs. But I don't know. We'll see. Exactly. This is the thing. We will certainly wait and see. Won't we? We'll have to see what develops over the next 24 to 48 hours. I think it's going to be fast moving, and I think we have a new manager in for Saturday's game. Press conference will be Thursday. It's Tuesday tomorrow. I think the new manager may not. I think we might see a situation where he's picking the team and that, but sort of like letting Skubs on the sideline, being involved, but maybe not that involved. I don't know. Listen, Jack Harrison's been playing in midfield. I don't want to see Jack Harrison near that team for a while yet, putting a stinking performance. But then again, you just don't know, do you? Because new manager comes in, new ideas, because they were devoid of any at the weekend. Listen, we've done an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank you all for being here and joining me on this stream. It's a pleasure, as always, to be able to do this. So thank you for always supporting my channel. Please smash a like on your way out. If you're watching this on the replay, please smash a like. I'll be back tomorrow, finish work at 5, take my dogs out, eat my food, and we'll go again. And hopefully, I reckon tomorrow we're gonna have more to go on. I think it'll be close. It could even be announced. We'll wait and see. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you on the other side. Peace out and love you all. I've not pressed the button. What?